Lurch into the windup. Here's the first pitch of the ball game. It's a changeup laced into left field. Luzinski coming hard. He can't get it. Plays it on a bounce, and Mazzilli gets a base hit on the first pitch of the ball game, and he is now batted safely in 8 straight. Mazzilli aboard to start it for the New York Mets, and here's Bobby Valentine. Bobby hitting at .273, playing at second base. When shortstop Tim Foley was injured, the Mets swung Flynn over to shortstop from second, and Valentine, who had been their spare infielder, got a chance to play. Quick conference between Bobby and third base coach Maxwell.
Well, Mazzilli's a pretty good base runner, and Valentine makes some contact, and they might want to try a little hit and run. The Mets are a team that have to make things happen. They stand around, they're not going to score many runs, and they haven't been.
There goes Mazzilli, throw to first base. Hebner throws it on down to Boa. The tag is on, and he is out. They've got Mazzilli on the first pitch. That'll go Lurch to Hebner to Boa.
Well, something was on, whether it was a straight steal or a hit and run, and Phillies sensed it, and Randy Lurch took the move over there, and Lee Mazzilli left way too soon. It was just a matter of Hebner getting the ball to Boa, and Larry made a pretty good tag on the play on Mazzilli, who slid around it at first.
Run out in the inning. Lurch winds, and here's the pitch to Valentine. It's a fastball up high, ball 1. Valentine with 1 home run and 10 runs batted in. Left-hander's next pitch is down low. 2 balls and no strikes. Valentine, a right-handed batter. Here's the 2-0 pitch from Lurch, a called strike. Satch Davidson calling the balls and strikes today. Joe West at first base, John Kibler at second, and Nick Colosi at third. 2-1 pitch on the way. Swing and a shot toward center field. Maddox coming hard. He can't get it. It falls in for a hit. So Valentine singles to center, a ball very much like the one Mazzilli hit to left field. And with 1 down, the Mets have a runner at first. During this afternoon's Phillies game, each Philly that homers receives a free case of Tasty Cake and one for Topton Lutheran Home. The same goes for the Phillies' winning pitcher. Now you can win even more money in the daily use home run payoff, because this season every hit pays off. Today's payoff inning will be the 5th. Right-handed batting Elliot Maddox coming up. He's hitting at an even 200. Valentine at first with 1 out. Lurch makes a throw to first base. Valentine is back.
Both Maddox and Luzinski played those balls well. The outfield is still very wet from the rain over the weekend, and the ball has a tendency to skid when it hits that, so you don't want to get caught with the ball skidding by you. So they both trapped the ball and made good plays on it.
Again, Lurch checks Valentine back to first base. The Mets have won 11 games. They have lost 16. Early part of the year, they were atop the National League East standings. Now they are at the bottom. Maddox takes a slider outside. 1 ball and no strikes. All 3 of Lurch's victories have come here at Veterans Stadium, and of course his 1 defeat on the road at St. Louis against Forsch in his no-hitter. Lurch has the sign from Boone. There goes the runner. The pitch is sent in the air to right field. It's going to be caught by McBride, and he'll have no chance to double off Valentine. Maddox, trying to go the opposite way, sliced it toward right, caught by McBride for the 2nd out of the inning. Valentine was able to get back to first. 2 outs here, Steve Henderson. Henderson batting 196. Henderson, right-handed batter. He leads the Mets in runs batted in with 18, despite that low average of 196. Pitch on the way to Steve is a fastball in for a strike. That's 1 more RBI than Schmidt has so far, whose total of 17 leads the Phillies. 1 strike, the count on Henderson. Here's Lurch's next pitch. It's a curveball, but it did not break. It stayed way up high. 1 ball and 1 strike. I can hear you chuckling at our Philly fanatic.
That thing just makes me laugh. David Raymond, the young guy that plays the Philly fanatic, is very, very clever, and he's getting better at it, and the fans are really enjoying him. It's been a good addition to the ballpark.
Stretching the 1-1 pitch. In the air to left field on a base hit. Valentine takes the turn at second, goes a third of the way, but decides to hold on. That's the third hit of the inning for the New York Mets as Henderson lines a single to left field. And yet there are 2 outs with Mets at first and second.
Well, the one thing Randy Lerch doesn't want to do is walk people, so he's throwing strikes today, and the Mets are getting some base hits. That's the first ball they really hit well. The first 2 hits were bloopers, but Stevie Henderson is a good-looking player. I really like him a lot. He hits the ball hard to all fields, and they said he was going to be a star when he was with the Cincinnati Reds, and he's going to be a real good player in this league.
Here comes left-handed batting Willie Montanez to the plate, the ex-Phil, carrying a .216 average. He's been off to a slow start, but has been picking up of late. Willie had a single in last night's ball game, part of a 1-for-4 performance. 2 outs, runners at first and second. Lerch at the belt. Here's his pitch to Montanez. Slider is inside. Ball 1. John Stearns waiting on deck for the Mets. He hit a home run off Lerch last year. Randy was 1-0 in 4 games against New York last year. Montanez, hard hit ground ball off the glove of Lerch. Nobody's going to be out here. Randy scrambling back to pick it up all the way out towards second, and everybody's safe. That'll be an infield hit, and the bases are loaded. Lerch slowing down that ball, but he could not make a play, and the Mets have their 4th hit of the inning, but they still haven't scored.
It's hard to say. Lerch might have saved a run there. The ball was hit up the middle, and Morrison was shaded that way, but Willie hit that ball so hard, I'm pretty sure that would have gone through. So the play by Randy Lerch there, stopping the ball, probably saved a run.
So John Stearns gets a chance to hit here with the bases loaded. First inning for the Mets, there are 2 outs. Mazzilli got a single, but then the Phillies got him trying to steal second. Valentine followed with a hit. Maddox lined out to right. Solid hit by Henderson. Infield hit by Montanez, and they're loaded with 2 down. Stearns, right-handed batter, hitting at 192. Lerch will use the full windup. Randy swings into gear. Here's the pitch to Stearns. Curveball, low and inside, ball 1. Stearns 3 for 9 off Lerch last year, including that home run. Randy's ERA against the Mets last year, 4.88. Fastball is high. 2 balls and no strikes to John Stearns. No room for him. Lerch winds the 2-0 pitch. High and outside, ball 3. Wouldn't it be something? He would walk this guy after giving up 4 hits and nobody scored. Hasn't walked anybody. 3 balls and no strikes to Stern. Here's the pitch. In for a strike call. 3-1 count on the New York catcher who was once property of the Phillies. Here's his 3-1 pitch. Swing and a foul ball. Back, we've got a full count. So now the runners will be moving on a full count and 2 down.
This is a spot where you really hate to see a pitcher get into, and I'm feeling Bob Boone might call for a breaking ball in this spot because Stearns would look for a fastball.
Lerch winds. Here's the pitch. It is drilled to center field. It is going to fall for a hit. 2 runs are going to score. Single to center field, and both Valentine and Henderson scamper across the plate. Montanez goes to third base, and the Mets are out front 2-0. Stearns hit a fastball into center field to drive in 2 runs, his 5th and 6th of the year. And that's hit number 5 this inning off Lerch. The batter is Joel Youngblood. He's in at third base today, as the Mets are resting Lenny Randall, who has been playing very tight and has not been hitting. Youngblood, right-handed batter, hitting at .294. Stretching the pitch to Youngblood. Curveball is over for a strike call. They got him from the Cardinals last year, but he was also a former member of the Cincinnati Reds. Check throw to first base. Back in time is Stearns. Warren Brewster begins throwing in the Phillies' right field bullpen. Breaking ball to Youngblood is low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Mets out in front 2-0. 5 hits in the inning, and Lerch has been in constant trouble. The pitch to Youngblood. Hard hit ball, but Boa's got it at shortstop on one hop. Plays to Morrison for the force out, and the inning is over. For the Mets, 2 runs, 5 hits, and 2 men left on base at the end of the half inning. New York 2, Phillies coming up. Family. Craig Swan, right-hander, pitching for the New York Mets today. Craig in his 4th big league season out of Arizona State. He once had a major weight problem. He ballooned up to 255 pounds. He actually dropped 40 pounds. He's down around 215 right now. And he's had a good start this year. I was talking with Mets manager Joe Torre about him before the ball game. He said he's really only made one terrible pitch this year. That against Dave Kingman, who juiced him for a home run, and his record is 1-1. Swan has a fine earned run average, 2.00. He is 1-3 lifetime against the Phillies, 1-1 last year. Bake McBride will lead it off, and Bake has been a hot batter. He's hit safely in 5 straight. The Mets lead the ball game 2-0. Bake hitting at .263, left-handed batter. The Mets with Youngblood at third base today, Flynn at short, Valentine at second, Montanez at first. In the outfield, Henderson in left, Mazzilli in center, Maddox in right, and Stearns behind the plate. The first pitch is over, first strike called. Bake still looking for his first home run. He has knocked in 8 runs. Here's Swan's next delivery. A fastball is inside. He throws a fastball at curve, and he also has a changeup, which is actually a slip pitch. He can throw hard. There have been times when he was a teammate of Tom Seaver, and he was clocked at faster than Seaver. There's his changeup, and it's outside, 2-1.
I can't believe that. I'd love to have seen the guy that was clocking him. I've seen Swan pitch a lot. Never seen him throw anywhere near that hard.
And time is called as he makes the 2-1 pitch. It doesn't count. It was a fastball, but count holds at 2 balls and a strike on Bake McBride. Phillies in first place in the National League East after winning 6 of their last 7 ball games. They have a half-game margin over the Montreal Expos, who today have to play a doubleheader at Cincinnati. Phillies have a twin bill at Cincinnati coming up later in the season. The 2-1 pitch to McBride off the handle of the bat, grounded softly toward second. The throw to first is in time, and Valentine throws him out. McBride grounds out to second base. That's 1 down. And here's Larry Boa. Larry's off to a great start, and with 28 hits, he is tied for club leadership along with Mike Schmidt, and Larry's batting at .301. Pitch to switch-hitting Boa, and it's fouled off the left field side, strike 1. Boa has knocked in 5 runs. Larry batting from the left side here against Craig Swan. Well, the strikeout leader of the National League will be here tomorrow night, J.R. Richard. He's got 46 of them. Here's a hard hit ball, base hit up the middle. Larry Boa singles to center field, and Larry has now batted safely in 7 straight ball games.
You mentioned last week when we were working the game with Danny how well he's swinging the bat left-handed, and it's just tremendous. He's having trouble right-handed. He keeps pulling off pitches, but boy, left-handed, he's got the shoulder tucked in and hitting everything hard, and it's really a good left-handed hitter right now.
His average left-handed would be up about 380 at the moment. Here's Mike Schmidt. He's hitting .329. Mike leads the National League in runs scored, 23. 1 on, 1 out for the Phillies, who trail at 2-0. Swan stretches. The pitch to Mike is fouled off the right side, strike 1. Schmidt failed to get a hit off Swan last year, going 0 for 6. Incidentally, if you are a connoisseur of pitching matchups, how about the prospect, although it isn't official yet, but it looks like Tom Seaver and Steve Carlton will be facing each other here on Thursday night when that 4-game Cincinnati series opens at 7:35. Schmidt takes a fastball over, a strike called. 0-2 to Schmidt. Mike leads the Phillies in homers with 5 and in RBIs with 17. Swan ahead in the count, 0-2. Here's the pitch to Schmidt. Hard hit ball toward the hole, backhanded by the shortstop, no play. Flynn grabbed it, but he couldn't hold it. He did a nice job just getting to that ball, and that'll be an infield hit for Schmidt. Runners at first and second with one down.
Good spot for Schmitty there. He's doing a lot more of that this year, getting the 2 strikes on him and getting a base hit. Flynn made a good play on that to stop it. It looked like a base hit off the bat, and he kept it in the infield.
Well, Greg Luzinski, who had 4 RBIs last night, he's got 6 runs batted in this series. And a couple of people out there right now that Greg would like to get off the bases. Bull batting at .297. Swan stretches. First pitch to the Bull, swing and a miss, strike 1. A fastball that looked like the pitch was right where the Bull would like it. 1 strike to Luzinski. 4 home runs and 14 RBIs. Pitch to the right-handed batter is a slider outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Luzinski was 4 out of 6 off Swan last year. Next pitch to Luzinski is outside. 2-1. The Astros moving in here tomorrow night. J.R. Richard with his 46 strikeouts to face Larry Christensen. Ball game starts at 7:35 tomorrow night. J.R. only has a 1-3 record despite all those strikeouts. Pitch to the Bull is fouled off, and he broke his bat. The barrel of the bat went right back through the mound, and Swan had to bail out. The ball that was fouled off went over top the Phillies' dugout.
It's a really unusual way to break a bat. That bat broke right in half. A lot of times you'll see them, they'll splinter and you'll have some jagged ends on it and everything, but that thing just took it like you'd take it over your knee and break it right in half, right above the red trademark that Greg uses, the big sticks from Adirondack.
2 balls and 2 strikes, the count on Luzinski. The Mets lead this game 2-0, but the Phillies have the tying runs aboard with 1 down in their half of the first inning. Greg Swan, right-hander, stretches, and here's his pitch to the ball, foul back to the screen. Count holds at 2-2. Remember to change your schedules now. That Saturday, June 3rd game here against the Dodgers was originally a night game, but it's moved back to 2:15 in the afternoon for national TV. So June 3rd, the Phillies and the Dodgers will meet here at 2:15. The 2-2 pitch to Luzinski. Ground ball, weakly hit back toward the middle. Flynn has it, throws to first in time, and each runner moves up a base. I think Greg may have broken another bat. Sends a weak ground ball to shortstop for the second out, each runner advancing a base.
It was a tough at bat for the Bull there. He lost 2 bats on that. And you're right, Andy. He did break his bat again, and the ball was hit so slowly that the runners were able to move up.
And we'll pause here for station identification. This is the Phillies Baseball Network.
This is News Radio in the Delaware Valley, KYW 1060, Philadelphia. Partly sunny and 66 degrees on Independence Mall.
Well, our flagship station, KYW, tells us it's 66 degrees, and if they say it, that's what it is. Here's Richie Hebner, the batter. Hebner, left-hander, batting at .286. Runners at second and third, 2 outs in the inning. Mets on top, 2-0. Swan has the sign from Stearns. Here's his pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 1.
The Mets have the base open. A lot of times you'll see teams will pitch around the left-handed hitter in the spot to get to the right-handed hitter, but no chance there. Craig Swan threw a fastball right by Hebner, right in the strike zone.
He stretches. Here's the next pitch. It's outside. Of course, in this case, the on-deck batter is Gary Maddox, who's been going well and hitting at .295. Tough to pitch around people in the Phillies lineup. You can do it with a club like the Mets, but it's tough for people to do it to the Phillies too often. The 1-1 pitch is low. 2 balls and a strike to Hebner, who has hit safely in 7 of the last 8 ball games.
Of course, they could have told Swan to pitch around him. His last 2 pitches have not been good. He could have just said, well, what the heck, and challenged Hebner and thrown it by him, and that's the type of thing that will get a pitcher in pretty good hot water with his manager. Swan stretches. The 2-1 pitch is up high, ball 3, and maybe they are working around him. it was the obvious spot to do it, and that's why I was so surprised when that first pitch to Hebner was right down the pipe like it was. And it looked like it even surprised Richie because he didn't get the real good swing at it.
Swan ready. Here's his 3-1 to Hebner. And it's a fastball outside, ball 4. So Hebner takes a walk. And the Phillies have the bases loaded for Gary Maddox. Gary hitting at .295. To send along best wishes today to Lila Brenner, one of our good friends from WPHL-TV. We understand Lila is hospitalized. Here's a swing and a foul back to the screen, a strike. We wish her well. Got to get her back to work. Things can't possibly function at WPHL-TV without Lila.
You guys won't get paid.
1 strike the count on Maddox. Gary has knocked in 11 runs this year, still looking for his first RBI. Or for his first home run, I should say. Swan's using the full windup. The pitch to Maddox, inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Boa doing a dance off third, trying to annoy Swan. Here's the pitch. It's fouled away by Gary, and the count is 1-2. The sun is out here at Veterans Stadium right now. The first time we've seen it in this 3-game weekend series against the Mets. Ball and 2 strikes to Gary Maddox. Bases loaded, 2 outs. The pitch to Gary. Check swing on a slider. And he took it for a ball, 2-2.
Well, that was a real good pitch Craig Swan threw right there. He was throwing hard, and used to throw a big looping curveball. I haven't seen much of that. That was a good slider he threw.
Swan winds. Next pitch to Maddox. Foul back. Count holds at 2-2. On Tuesday night in that Houston series, Floyd Bannister, young left-hander, will pitch for the Astros. And Jim Cott will get a start for the Phillies. And in the Wednesday night game, it'll be Joe Niekro against Jim Lonborg. Phillies are home through a week from today. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Maddox. Another slider, and it's just outside. Well, we've got a full count.
Same situation the Mets had.
That's right, and this is where Stearns delivered his 2-run single that has the Mets on top, 2-0. Here go the runners. The windup in the pitch. Hard hit ball, base hit to left field. Boa scores, Schmidt scores, and the Phillies have tied the ball game on a key single by Gary Maddox. Just the way Stearns came through, Maddox came through, and the ball game is all even.
That's what happens if a pitcher gets himself in a hole like that. Give Gary Maddox a lot of credit on that at-bat. He had 2 nasty sliders on the outside part of the plate that he took, and Swan got behind in the count. He had to come in with a 3-2 fastball, and he roped it to left field. And laying off those tough breaking balls from Swan is a good at-bat for Maddox.
Hebner made it to third base. Runners at the corners with 2 down for Bob Boone. The pitch to Bob is a slider. It's in for a strike. Boone hitting at .267. Bob had the night off last night as Steve Carlton worked the complete game with his permanent battery mate, Tim McCarver. Swan stretches. Here's the pitch to Boone, low. No, it isn't either. He called it right at the knees, a strike.
You're right, it was low.
There goes Maddox. The 1-1 pitch is sent into the air, fouled on the right field side, out of play. A ball and 2 strikes on Boone. Bob was successful against Swan last year. He had 3 hits and 5 tries. Well, the Mets sent 7 men to the plate in the first inning, and Boone is number 7 for the Phillies. Pitch to Bob. Off the handle of the bat towards shortstop. Flynn takes it, throws over to Valentine. And the Phillies' first ends just the way the Mets' first inning did. But the Phils have tied the ball game on 2 hits. Or 2 runs on 3 hits, and 2 men left on base. At the end of an inning, it's tied 1-1. Now time for a tasty break. Doug Flynn leads it off for the Mets in the second inning. This ball game is tied 2-2. Flynn, the shortstop, batting at .245. Lurch winds. Here's the pitch to Flynn. It's fouled back, strike one. The Mets got 5 hits in the first inning, but scored just 2 runs. And it was hit number 5 that brought them across. Randy almost got out of it. 1 strike pitch is fouled back. 0-2 the count on Flynn with pitcher Craig Swan on deck. Right after the ball game, the Mets are leaving for Cincinnati, a 2-game series with the Reds. Here's a curveball that's low. 1-2 the count to Doug Flynn. Doug started out the season as the Mets' second baseman, and they still use him there as late-inning defense. They say he was playing an excellent second base. The 1-2 pitch to him is very high, 2-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Doug Flynn. Lurch winds. Here's the pitch. Hard hit ball to right field. It'll fall for a base hit. Flynn lines a single to right field to start the second inning, and that is the 6th hit for the Mets. It brings up pitcher Craig Swan, and the Phillies will be looking for a bunt. In the first of that doubleheader today at Cincinnati, Montreal leads 2-0 at the end of 2. Wayne Twitchell against Paul Moskow, who was just called up. Andre Dawson hit his 4th home run for Montreal. The Pirates lead the Dodgers 1-0 at the end of an inning. Tommy John, who is 4-0, pitching against Jim Rooker. Pitch coming in to Swan, who bunts, but it goes foul, strike one. Nothing up in the American League yet except some starting pitchers. Texas at New York, Doc Ellis against Jim Beatty. Minnesota at Baltimore, Gary Sarum and Jim Palmer. Here's a pitch high, and Swan did not offer at it. 1 ball and 1 strike. Chicago at Boston, Pablo Torrealba to go for the White Sox, Mike Torres for the Red Sox. Lurch stretches. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Full cut by Swan, and it's a pop fly foul out of play off the first base side. 1-2 the count. The pitcher, choking up on the bat, took a full swing. Swan has 3 hits this year, 3 for 13. That figures out to 231. Pitch on the way to him. Swing and a miss, strike 3. First strikeout for Lurch. First out of the inning. With 1 down, Lee Mazzilli will bat. He singled to start the ball game, but then the Phillies caught him running to second, and they got him out easily. As Lurch played it over to first, and Hebner threw on down to Boa for the tag.
I think Mazzilli's a good-looking ball player. We said this about him last year, and it looks like he's improved his offense, and he's a good center fielder. And the Mets stay with this guy. I think they're really going to have a good player. Switch hitter, and he's got some power. He's already hit 4 home runs, which is, I don't know, I guess Henderson probably has more. I don't know their stats, but I just really like him a lot. He can run well, and he throws pretty good, and he should be a good player for them.
You talk about the way he can run. In a minor league ball game, he once stole 7 bases in a 7-inning game. He can really do it.
Yeah, he can do a lot of things that you don't teach players. He's got a lot of natural ability in the outfield, too. He made a great catch here on Friday night.
Lurch stretches. Here's the pitch to Mazzilli. Fastball, swing, and a miss, strike 1. The pitch was up high. Mazzilli has more power from the left side of the plate than he does from the right. Got a chance to be a real star in New York because he's homegrown. He's from Brooklyn. Here's the 1-strike pitch to Mazzilli. Breaking ball, and it's popped just beyond the infield left side. Boa back in shallow left field, and Larry grabs it for the out. Second out of the inning as Mazzilli pops out to Boa. Flynn holds first, and here's Bobby Valentine. Valentine singled and scored in the first inning. Bobby hitting at .289, right-handed batter. Started out as an infielder, became an outfielder, and is now back in the infield again. A curveball over first strike. Lurch at the belt. Here's his pitch. Another curveball, and it's hammered to left field, a base hit. Greg Luzinski plays it on 2 hops, and the Mets have their 7th hit of the ball game.
These other games where Randy struggled a little bit with his control, he's had good success with his breaking ball, but today he's really hanging it, and that was a pitch that Bobby Valentine just hit. It was a high curveball right up in his eyes, and there's no hitter in the game doesn't like to see a pitch like that.
Elliot Maddox coming to the plate. He lined out to McBride in his first try. 2 outs, runners at first and second. Phillies trying to sweep the New York Mets after taking the first 2 games of this series 9-4 and 7-2. Lurch ready. Here's the pitch. Fastball outside, ball 1. Lurch had an odd record coming into the game. He had walked 14 but struck out only 12. The stretch and the pitch. Swinging a hard hit ball. Boa gets it at short. Good play over to second in time for the force, and Larry Boa has just made another outstanding play. For the Mets in the second, no runs, 2 hits, and 2 men left. At the end of an inning and a half, it's tied 2-2. Jim Morrison leads it off for the Phillies in the second inning. Morrison, Lurch, and McBride. Morrison has had hits in 4 of the 6 games he has played as a Philly. And, of course, the Phillies have won all but the 1 ball game, that out in Cincinnati. Swan winds, and the first pitch is popped up. It's in foul ground. There may be a play for Stearns. He is over near the Phillies dugout, and he takes that ball and falls into the dugout. That was a great catch by Stearns. He was actually falling as he made that catch. A very fine effort by Stearns, whose meat hand hit the top of the dugout as he went in and caught it with 1 hand. And he is now wiping off that meat hand, but that was quite a play.
It was an outstanding play by John Stearns, the catcher. He's a really aggressive player, and he doesn't have a whole lot of regard for his body. And if you noticed, Danny, when he fell in the dugout, nobody really tried to help him. He's not too popular with the Phillies players for some of the stunts he pulled last year.
The batter will be Randy Lurch. Well, I see Paul Moskow is not faring so well today. He has already given up 2 home runs, and he's trailing at least 4-0. I wonder who recommended calling Moskow up to pitch that game today for the Reds. That's an inside joke, friends. We know that Ray Shore is always listening with his transistor. Here's a pitch to Lurch, high, ball 1.
Tough to be an expert in this game, as I prove every game.
But seriously, Ray, he has given up home runs to Dawson and Valentine, and in the third, he's down 4-0. Outside a ball. Sorry to have to be the bearer of bad news.
You know, he really needed that. He's sitting behind home plate trying to scout the Phillies, and you got to tell him that, right?
The 2-0 pitch to Lurch is a fastball high, ball 3.
Check that. He's scouting the Mets because that's who the Reds play next, right?
Well, that's right. He's also looking at the Phillies because the Reds are in here starting Thursdays. Next, keeping both eyes open today. Inside, ball 4, and Lurch draws a walk on 4 pitches. That's the second walk that Swan has handed out. Phillies getting a base runner with 1 down, and it brings up Bake McBride. This ball game is tied 2-2. Bake grounded out to second base in his first at bat. Mets set up for the double play. Pitch on the way to Bake is inside a ball. Mets came into this series leading the National League in double plays with 28, but they have not pulled one off so far in the series. Now, I suppose you would say that's a black cat statement. McBride takes inside and low.
I didn't say that.
No, but you would say that, wouldn't you? I mean, if Bake rounds into a double play here, you will blame me for saying that, right?
We have no control up here over what the athletes do down on the field.
That's exactly the way I feel. The 2-0 pitch to Bake is foul back, a strike. 2-1 the count to McBride. Bake carries a .311 lifetime average against the New York Mets pitching staff. The Expos actually came up with 4 runs in the third inning, so they lead the Reds 6-0 at the end of 2.5. Stretch in the pitch by Swan. Another one fouled back right below us. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I'm going to get one of those yet. 2 years in here, never a ball in this booth.
They come in every once in a while, but we're usually so busy ducking that they bounce out again. A 2-2 count on Bake McBride. Swan stretches. There goes the runner, and it's a ground ball back to Swan. Throws to first. He only had the one play as Lurch was running on the pitch. He throws to first in time for the out, and Randy makes it to second base. 2 outs, and Larry Bowa will bat. Larry has a 7-game hit streak going right now. Singled and scored in the first inning. We'd like to mention that Baseball Commissioner Bowie Kuhn is going to be the guest speaker at the Delaware Hall of Fame induction dinner on May 18th. And Phillies chairman of the board, Bob Carpenter, is being inducted into the Hall of Fame that night, along with other notable sports figures from Delaware. The pitch to Boa is a little pop foul off the third base side, strike 1. Randy Lurch at second base does not have the warm-up jacket on. 2 outs in the inning, and the Mets and the Phillies are tied 2-2. The Astros will be here tomorrow night at 7:30. J.R. Richard with a 1-3 record, but leading the league in strikeouts with 46 against Larry Christensen. Pitch on the way to Boa. Fly ball, shallow right. In fact, it's not going to leave the infield. Montanez is over, and he does the wraparound catch for the out. So for the Phillies in the second, no runs, no hits, and 1 man left on base. At the end of 2, Phillies 2, Mets 2. For the Mets in the third inning, Steve Henderson, Willie Montanez, and John Stearns. The Mets have already had 7 hits in this ball game, but they have all been singles. Some of them have not been hit that hard, and the game is tied 2-2. Now the Pirates are leading the Dodgers 3-0 as they go to the third inning. Here's Henderson. He singled and scored in the first. And that hit moves his average up over the 200 mark to 204. Henderson, right-handed batter with his left foot tucked in front of the plate. The pitch to him, big swing and a miss, strike 1.
I think the stance he uses, it looks like he's going to hit the ball to right field almost every time, and they kind of pitch him in a little bit to try and make him do that, inside out the ball, maybe take some of the sting out of it, but he really smoked the ball to left field his first time up. It seems like he hits more balls to the right side of second base than he will the other way.
Lurch, the windup in the pitch to Henderson, breaking ball back through the middle on a base hit. Henderson gets a single to center field, and the Mets have had a single under their leadoff man in every inning. So Henderson is 2 for 2 as he takes over at first base, and Willie Montanez comes to the plate. He got a single off Lurch's glove in the first inning. Willie Montanez batting at .224. Montanez, traded away by the Phillies to San Francisco, has since gone to Atlanta and now to New York. Warren Brewster up and throwing for the second time in the bullpen. Curveball over for a strike call. In Atlanta, the Houston-Atlanta game has been delayed by rain. Throw to first base, back in time is Henderson. Joe Morgan has homered for the Reds in the third with 1 on. So Montreal's margin is cut to 6-2 in the first end of that doubleheader. Pitch out, but nothing happening. 1 ball and 1 strike. 2 years ago, Montanez led the National League in singles. He had 164 of them. 1-1 pitch is fouled back. And that one came in here, and by golly, you're almost going to get it. Nice gesture. Magnanimous Chris Wheeler has tossed it back out of the booth. Nice going, Chris.
No way I'm going to keep that. Those people would start screaming.
1 ball and 2 strikes, the count on Montanez. Here's the pitch, breaking ball, laced to right field, a base hit. Henderson takes the turn at second. He will go to third. On his way to second goes Montanez. He is in with a double. That's the first extra base hit for the Mets today, but it is their 9th hit of this ball game. Runners at second and third with nobody out, and Lurch has been in continual trouble. It brings up John Stearns, who has driven in the 2 New York runs. Ball game tied 2-2. Lurch winds. Here's the pitch to Stearns. The fastball is up high, ball 1. They were RBIs number 5 and 6 for John when he singled with the bases loaded in the first inning. Here's a breaking ball high, 2-0. Jim Rice has homered for the Red Sox in the first with 1 on. They're playing the White Sox today. They swept them in a twin bill yesterday. Curveball low in. No, it's a cross for a strike. 2-1 the count. Runners at second and third with nobody out. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Fastball high, 3-1. Joel Youngblood is on deck. Lurch from the windup. Here's the pitch. Low ball 4, and the bases are loaded. And let's pause for station identification. This is the Phillies Baseball Network.
And this is KYW Philadelphia. KYW News Time at 2:27, 70 degrees under sunny skies at Independence Ball.
That's the first walk given up by Lurch. Mets have the bases loaded with nobody out. Here's Joel Youngblood. He grounded out to Larry Boa. Right-handed batter. Lurch from the full windup. The pitch to him, swing and a miss on a curveball, strike 1.
Danny Ozark showing a lot of patience with Randy Lurch right now. And good for the young man's confidence if he could get out of a situation like this. Bases loaded, nobody out. You almost think he'd come out and get him.
Wind up in the pitch. Swing and a miss. Tried to check it, but couldn't on an outside fastball.
Danny's theory on it probably is that he does have the underbelly of the Mets lineup right here. Everybody in the major leagues can hit, but I mean, you are down to 7, 8, 9, so he's going to give him a chance to work out of it.
0-2 on Youngblood. Here's the pitch. Fastball just missed inside. 1-2 the count. Doug Flynn is on deck. Lurch has the sign. Here's his 1-2 pitch. Just missed inside again. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Randy shakes off the sign. Now time is called as Youngblood steps out. The Phillies are conceding a run here. They're looking for a double play. Lurch winds. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball hit in the air to left field. Luzinski going back. He gloves it on the warning track. Tagging at third base is Henderson. He will score. The other runners hold. And the Mets take a 3-2 lead. Sacrifice fly RBI for Joel Youngblood. And the Mets are up 3-2. That's the first out of the inning. We have runners at first and second. And here is Doug Flynn, 1 for 1. He singled to right. Flynn batting right-handed. Stretching the pitch by Lurch. Over for a strike.
This guy really likes to hit the ball to right field, and Bake McBride is playing well over that way. That's what he did last time, I believe. He hit a line drive right there where Bake is now.
The 1-strike pitch to Flynn. Ground ball towards shortstop. Boa to Morrison. There's 1 to first. Safe. Phillies get the runner at second. Stearns wiped out. Flynn safe at first on the force out. And Willie Montanez advances to third base.
It really wasn't a double play ball. The ball was hit slowly to Boa and took 2 big hops, and they got the sure out at second, and Flynn runs very well, so Morrison made the throw, but he was careful not to hurry himself and to throw the ball away, especially with the pitcher coming up.
Here's Craig Swan. He struck out. Pitch to the right-handed batter is tapped toward third, foul. Well, bases loaded and nobody out. If Lurch gets out of the situation with just 1 run scored, not a bad job, really. Swan is a right-handed batter. Was trying to bunt on his first couple of pitches up there the last time he got it. Eventually struck out. Pitch to him is low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Lurch stretches. Here's the next pitch. Swing and a miss and a late one at that. 1-2 on Craig Swan. Mets got 2 runs in the first. They had 2 hits but didn't score in the second. They have taken a 1-run lead here in the third. Pitch on the way from Lurch. Swing, foul back to the screen. 1-2. Remember, baseball here all this week, every night. Monday through Thursday, beginning at 7:35. Friday night, 8:05. A Saturday night game at 7:35 with the Reds, and a week from today, 1:35. Swan takes high. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Young left-hander stretches. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. He went for a bad pitch, and Swan strikes out. The Mets get a run in the third on 2 hits, and they leave 2 men on base. At the end of 2.5 innings, New York 3, Phillies 2. Now time for a tasty break. So it'll be Mike Schmidt, Greg Luzinski, and Richie Hebner to bat for the Phillies. Pete Rose still continuing to bang out his hits. Pete starting the day with 36 of them to lead the National League. 1 more than teammate Ken Griffey at 35. Willie Montanez a little late getting out, and that's the reason for our delay here. Mike Schmidt leading the National League in runs scored. He's got 23. The Dodgers' Davey Lopes at 22. The Reds' Joe Morgan, 21. Pete Rose at 20. Rick Monday at 19. And Dave Cash has scored 19 runs. All right, here's Schmidt. He singled and scored in the first inning. Mike getting a 2-strike infield hit, and the first pitch comes way inside, ball 1. One strike on 1 ball on Mike Schmidt. Here's the next pitch, low and inside. 2-0 the count. Swan has the sign. Here's the 2-0 to Schmidt. A little bit low, 3-0. Swan winds. Here's the 3-0 pitch to Schmidt. High and inside, ball 4, and Mike draws a base on balls. So the Phillies get their lead runner on for the first time in the ball game. Third walk that Swan has given up, and here is Greg Luzinski. Greg grounded out to shortstop. Up. Greg, right-handed batter who had 4 runs knocked in last night. He has batted safely in 12 of the last 14 games. Swan stretches. Pitch to Luzinski is a changeup, and it's over for a strike. Gene Richards has homered for San Diego in the first with nobody on. They lead the Cardinals. Fouled off by the ball over top the Phillies dugout. 0-2. Schmidt at first with nobody out. Mets ahead on the scoreboard, 3-2. Swan at the belt. Here's the pitch. Full, fouls it to the screen. Here's a guy that's batting .297, or actually .293 right now after his 0 for 1 so far today, and he says he's not hitting yet. Stretching the pitch to him. Fly ball hit well to left field. Mazzilli going back, way back. It is out of here, into into the dancing waters. A straightaway center field home run for the ball, and the Phillies lead the ball game 4-3.
Yeah, he's not swinging well. That's what he's been saying, that it started to come the last couple of days. And Craig Swan really pitched him tough the 2 times he's been up so far, but he got a low fastball there. It kind of tailed back over the plate right about his knees. And boy, Bull really smoked that baby to dead center field, a home run. And this time of year, you don't see a whole lot go out to center field. And he just jumped all over that pitch.
Greg homers for a case of Tasty Cake and one for the Topton Lutheran home. Number 5 ties him for team leadership with Mike Schmidt, and he's also among the National League leaders. Rick Monday has 9. Dave Winfield and Johnny Bench each have 6, and nobody else has more than 5. Phillies lead the ball game 4-3. Here is Richie Hebner. Pitch to Hebner is a fastball outside, ball 1.
His hitting's kind of like springtime and income tax time. You know it's going to come sooner or later.
Good way to put it. The 1-0 pitch to Hebner is on the outside corner, a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. So Greg has knocked in 8 runs in this series. Here's Swan's next pitch to Hebner. It's a changeup, and he gets it over for a strike call. That is only the 2nd home run given up by Craig Swan this year. Wind up in the 1-2 pitch to Hebner. Ground ball foul out beyond first base coach Tony Taylor. Still nobody out in the inning, and the Phillies now lead it 4-3. Even though they've been out hit 9-4 by the Mets. Swan winds. Here's the pitch. Fly ball into shallow left center field. Henderson coming in. He takes it for the out. Hebner flies out to left field. That's the first out of the 3rd inning. It'll bring up Gary Maddox. Gary had the key hit in the ball game in the 1st inning. A bases loaded single to left field that scored the first 2 runs for the Phillies. Gary now batting .304. The pitch to him is a curve over for a strike. Gary now with 13 runs batted in. Pitch to the right-handed batter, topped at the plate toward the pitcher. Swan comes in, throws to first, in time for the out. It was like a swinging bunt, and Swan made a pretty good play. 2nd out of the inning. With 2 away, Bob Boone comes to the plate. Boone grounded into a force out in the 1st inning. Bob hitting at .261. Swan winds. Here's the pitch. Fastball high, ball 1. Richard Bannister and Joe Niekro to pitch in a 3-game series with the Astros, which starts tomorrow. There's a strike on the changeup. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Phillies to use Christensen, Cott, and Lonborg. It all starts at 7:35 tomorrow night. The 1-1 pitch to Boone is low.
Little Ryan Lazinski's down there behind home plate imitating his father's home run swing.
Not a bad swing to imitate. The 2-1 pitch outside.
The neck on him already is probably going to be as big as Greg.
Three balls and a strike on Bob Boone. Here's Swan's pitch. Fly ball, not very deep in left field. Henderson coming in. Should be an easy play, and he takes it for the out. So the inning is over, but the Phillies take the lead on the 2-run homer by Luzinski, the only hit of the inning, and nobody left on. Harry Callis will have the play-by-play in a moment. At the end of 3, the Phillies lead the Mets 4-3.
We move to the 4th inning with the Phillies leading at 4-3, and leading off for the New York Mets will be the top of the order, Lee Mazzilli. Mazzilli is singled and popped up.
Randy Lurch leading this game 4-3, although he's given up 9 hits. Phillies have 4 hits, but one of them a big one. Home run to straightaway center off the bat of Luzinski. Lee Mazzilli, switch hitter, batting right against Randy Lurch. Randy ready to go. Here's the pitch to Mazzilli. A fastball is popped foul out of play. 1 strike to Lee Mazzilli. The Houston Astros move in tomorrow night for a 3-game series. The Phillies will be looking at the smoke of big J.R. Richard tomorrow against Larry Christensen. Fun try by Mazzilli, and he missed the fastball. It's 0-2. Houston in Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday nights. Cesar Cedeno, Bob Watson and company. Nothing in 2 to Lee Mazzilli. Here's the 2-strike pitch. Breaking ball is low. It's 1-2. One-two pitch. Swinging a foul straight back, and it sticks in the screen. Stays the ball in 2 strikes to Lee Mazzilli. He'll be followed by Bobby Valentine. Never forget the home run this fella hit in 1976. One of the first of his career when the Buccos were breathing down the Phillies' neck. 1-2 pitch. Swing, a hard ground base hit to left field, and that is hit number 10, given up by Lurch. So Mazzilli, a base runner at first base, nobody out. That'll bring on Bobby Valentine. He's 2 for 2.
Must be a little frustrating to the Mets. They have 4 runs and 10 hits, and 3 runs and 10 hits, struggling like heck to get some runs, and the Phillies get the 4 runs on 4 hits, the big home run by Luzinski, and they just keep pounding Randy Lurch, and it's having one of those outings, and Danny Ozark's really showing a lot of confidence in staying with him, especially last inning when the bases loaded, nobody out.
That'll bring on Bobby Valentine. Here's the pitch to him, and it's outside for a ball. Once again, Warren Brewster gets up. Well, a gentleman worked very hard to get that ball out of the screen. The ball was stuck in the screen, but it fell back onto the field. Jose Cardinal retrieved the ball and gave it to the gentleman. Pitch is outside. It's 2-0 to Bobby Valentine. There's a stretch by Lurch. Runner breaking. 2-0 pitch is fouled out of play. 2 balls and a strike to Valentine. Randy Lurch, in his only loss, was no hit by St. Louis and Bob Forsch. But in his wins, the Phillies have scored 12, 12, and 11 runs. So he has been the recipient of a lot of offense. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Breaking ball is low, and he's behind 3-1. Three balls and a strike to Bobby Valentine. Lee Mazzilli, first base, nobody out. Throw to first base, and Mazzilli gets back in plenty of time.
Mets, especially early in the game, were showing tendencies to run. They have to do some things to make some things happen.
They're running on this one. A ground ball off the glove of Morrison into right field. Moving to third base is Mazzilli. He was moving on the pitch. Morrison was going over to cover, and Valentine deftly tried to hit behind him. Morrison had a shot at it, although his momentum was carrying him towards second. He stopped and moved back. It went off his glove. And Danny Ozark is coming out of the Phillies dugout. We'll have to wait and see how they score it. It'll be a base hit for Valentine and hit number 11 for the New York Mets. 11 hits, and we're in the 4th inning, but the Phillies lead 4-3, and Danny is going to go to the bullpen. This is going to be it for Randy Lurch. So we have a pitching change for the Phils. We're in the 4th inning. It's Phillies 4, New York 3, and we'll be back after this brief pause. Phillies. Back at Veterans Stadium, Harry Callis, along with Chris Wheeler, engineers Dave Toy and Maureen Shaughnessy. Here at Veterans Stadium, where the Phillies lead at 4-3. The Mets threatening to tie the game here, moving in front with runners at first and third and nobody out, and Warren Brewster coming in for the Phils. So Randy Lurch leaves in the fourth inning. At this stage, charged with 3 runs on 11 hits. Brewster trying to come in and get out of a big jam. Warren making his 7th appearance on the mound. No wins, no losses, no saves. An earned run mark of 3.38. In 8 and a third innings, he's given up 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 6 strikeouts, and 4 walks. Elliot Maddox, the first one to face Brewster. He is flying out to right and grounded into a fielder's choice. Lee Mazzilli at third. Bobby Valentine at second. Phillies at double play depth. Pitch to Maddox. Base hit right field. Mazzilli scores. Valentine will hold at second, and this game is tied at 4. Hit number 12 for New York. Give Maddox a run batted in. I'll bring up Steve Henderson. Henderson's been up twice. Twice he has singled, and he scored a couple of runs. Nobody out. Valentine at second. At first base is Elliot Maddox. Game tied at 4. The Mets have out-hit the Phillies 12-4. Here's Brewster's stretch, and the pitch to Henderson is low and away for a ball. Gene Garber begins throwing in the Phillies bullpen. Brewster's pitch, swing and a drive to deep right field. McBride all the way back to the warning track, makes the catch. Valentine tags at second, moves to third after the catch. Holding at first base is Elliot Maddox. Henderson hit the ball a long way to the opposite field, caught by Bake McBride for out number 1. The Mets have runners at first and third, 1 down. That'll bring on Willie Montañez. Willie has singled and doubled in 2 at-bats.
What Warren Brewster does best, probably of any pitcher in the Phillies staff, is throw the ground ball, the double play ball in key situations. And Willie Montañez, the good hitter that he is very prone to grounding into double plays, and that's certainly what the Phillies are going to look for in this situation.
4-4 ball game, 4th inning. Valentine at third, Maddox at first, and 1 out. There's the pitch to Montanez. Fastball called strike, snap throw to third. Back in time is Bobby Valentine. 1 strike to Montañez. 1 strike pitch to him. Bouncing ball up the middle, fielded by Morrison. Flips the ball 1, no chance for a relay. A bounding ball up the middle, coming in to score is Bobby Valentine, and the Mets lead it 5-4. Give Montañez a run batted in. Jim Morrison and Larry Ball were both there to field the ball, and neither really hit the bag. Morrison flipped the ball up for a force on Maddox. Boa had no chance for a relay. So the Mets have taken the lead 5-4, and that'll bring up John Stearns. 2 outs. Montanez at first base. Pitch to Stearns is over for a strike call. All 5 New York runs charged to Randy Lurch. One strike pitch. Slider is over for a strike called. Brewster in front of Stearns, 0-2. Stearns has singled to knock in a pair of runs and has walked. Here's the 2-strike pitch. High for a ball. Ball and 2 strikes to John Stearns. New York leading 5-4. We're in the 4th inning. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a line drive right field. McBride is there, makes the catch. Stearns is out on a liner to Bake McBride. The Mets take the lead with 2 runs on 3 hits, no errors, and 1 left. We go to the bottom half of the 4th inning. It's New York 5, Phillies 4. Jim Morrison leads off for the Phillies bottom half of the fourth inning. He fouled out to John Stearns on a fine play by Stearns his first time up. Mets leading 5-4. Here's Swan's pitch to Morrison. Fastball is high for a ball. Tim McCarver is moving to the on-deck circle to bat for Warren Brewster. 1-0 pitch to Jim Morrison. It's over for a strike called. It's 1-1. New York, 5 runs and 12 hits. Phillies, 4 runs and 4 hits. 1-1 pitch. Curveball is low for a ball. It's 2-1. Gene Garber is up in the Phillies bullpen. He'll be the Phil's new pitcher. Here's the pitch to Morrison. Swing and a drive to right field. Elliot Maddox is there, and he puts it away. Morrison is out, 1 down. Tim McCarver now is going back to the dugout, and Davy Johnson will come in to pinch hit for Warren Brewster. So McCarver was going to bat if Morrison reached base. Since Morrison didn't, Davy Johnson coming in. Johnson's been at bat 26 times this year, 3 hits, one of them a big one, a pinch hit grand slam home run. 1 out, nobody on base. Bottom half of the fourth inning. Greg Swan ready to work to pinch hitter Davy Johnson. Here's Swan's pitch to Johnson. A curveball is high and inside for a ball. One-0 pitch to Davy. Check swing foul out of play. Ball and a strike to Johnson, 1 down. Gene Garber trots in from the Phillies bullpen. Here's the pitch to Johnson. Swing and a high fly ball into shallow left. Going out is shortstop Doug Flynn. Coming on Henderson. Henderson makes the catch. So Johnson is out, 2 down. That'll bring up the top of the order, Bake McBride. McBride has been up twice, and twice he has grounded out. Game 1 of a doubleheader at Riverfront. Montreal leads Cincinnati 6-2 at the end of 3. Wayne Twitchell for Montreal and Paul Moscow for Cincinnati. There's a pitch on the way to McBride, and it's a breaking ball on the inside corner for a strike called. Andre Dawson and Ellis Valentine have homered in that game. Joe Morgan, a 2-run shot for Cincinnati. 1 strike pitch to Bay. Ground ball, a high hopper. It has eyes and into right field for a base hit. So Bake McBride grounds single to right. Phillies hit off Craig Swan. That'll bring up Larry Boa. Pittsburgh leads the Dodgers after 4-0 behind Jim Rooker. Tommy John pitching for Los Angeles. San Francisco and Chicago 0-0 after 2. Vida Blue and Ray Burris in that one. San Diego got 3 off Bob Force in the first and leads St. Louis 3-0. Pitch to ball, looped into left field. Henderson there makes the catch. So the Phillies go down in the fourth. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left. The end of 4, it's New York 5, Phillies 4. 5-5-5-0. Gene Garber, the new pitcher for the Phillies, coming in for Warren Brewster. Brewster pitching 1 inning, giving up 1 hit, no runs. Garber is appearing in his 9th game this year. 1 none, lost none, and saved none, and his earned run mark is 2.00. In 9 innings, he's given up 8 hits, 2 runs, 7 strikeouts, and 5 walks. Joel Youngblood, the first one to face him, takes one low and inside for a ball. Here's Garber's next delivery to Youngblood. Swing and a miss, ball and a strike. Youngblood is 0 for 1. He's grounded into a fielder's choice and hit a sacrifice fly to knock in a run. Mets lead 5-4, 5th inning. Here's a pitch to Youngblood. Swings and he misses at a good change. Ball and 2 strikes to Joel Youngblood. Garber gets his sign from Bob Boone. Swing and a miss. He struck him out with a good sinking fastball. So Youngblood is out, one down. That'll bring up Doug Flynn. Flynn is singled to right and grounded into a fielder's choice. That's a banged out 12 hits. Lead the Phillies 5-4. Pitch to Flynn is over for a strike call. One strike to Doug Flynn. One strike pitch to him, swinging a foul ball straight back. It's 0-2. Flynn playing shortstop for the Mets due to the injury to Tim Foley. Normally a second baseman and a good one. Former basketball player, Kentucky, and a fine young man, this fellow.
Gene Garber hasn't been getting as much work as he likes. He likes to pitch a couple of days in a row, and because of the rainouts and stuff like that, he just hasn't had much work. So it's a good chance for him to get an inning or two in.
Here's the two-strike pitch. A change is grounded to third base. Mike Schmidt has it and throws, and out at first base is Doug Flynn for out number 2. That'll bring up pitcher Craig Swan. He's 0-2. He has struck out twice. Swan came into the game hitting .231, but lifetime he's a .159 hitter. Here's the pitch to Swan. He swings and he misses. One strike to Swan. Houston in tomorrow night. Larry Christensen against J.R. Richard tomorrow. Next pitch to Swan is outside. It's 1-1. Houston right now is in a rain delay in Atlanta. 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Good fastball by Garber. A ball and 2 strikes to Craig Swan. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a punch base hit to center field. Garber gave him a slider and Swan punched it up the middle for a base hit. So Swan is a base runner with the Mets' 13th hit of the afternoon. That'll bring up Lee Mazzilli, the center fielder. Mazzilli has singled, popped up, and singled.
That right there was a classic example of anything can happen if you swing the bat.
That looked like a Chris Short hit.
Boy, his rear end was headed for the dugout.
Right. Foot in the bucket and just reach out and punch it up the middle. Swan at first base and 2 outs. Here's Mazzilli batting left against Garber. And the pitch to him is way outside for a ball. 1-0 to Lee Mazzilli. Mets will go from here to Cincinnati. 1-0 pitch outside with a change, and it's 2-0 to Mazzilli. Garber gets his sign from Bob Boone. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Fastball, swing and a miss. 2-1 to Mazzilli. He's having a good year. He's hitting .299. Garber shakes off the sign. Now he's ready to stretch. And the pitch. Fastball grounded foul down the first base side. So it's 2-2 to Lee Mazzilli.
Mazzilli really looks like one of those players that's going to just keep getting better. The Mets seem to have given him the center field job and said, here it is, now just improve, and he keeps improving at the bat, and it's going to be a very valuable player for him.
Here's Garber's pitch to him, swing and a line foul down the right field side. Well hit for way foul. Stays 2-2 to Mazzilli. Craig Swan at first base, 2 outs. The 2-2 pitch. Swing and a line drive. Fair ball down the right field line. Karem's right to McBride. Swan on his way to third. And Mazzilli will hold at first with his 3rd hit of the game. Hit number 14 for New York. Phillies got a lucky break in the fed ball. Karem to right to bake McBride. Instead of stopping near the corner where the picnic area fence juts out, So the Mets have runners at first and third, 2 down. That'll bring up Bobby Valentine. He is 3 for 3, all of them singles. Here's Garber's pitch to Valentine, swinging and a foul tip. 1 strike to Valentine.
The Mets have really been struggling as a team. I think they came in here with a team batting average of around 200. Yeah, and it's 208 right now. So I guess they've been due to get some base hits against somebody, and today they're really coming out of it as a team.
14 hits the Mets have. Lead the Phillies 5-4. Runners at first and third, 2 outs. Throw to first base, and Mazzilli gets back. 1 strike to Bobby Valentine. 1 strike pitch. A change and a bunt down the third base side, trickling foul. Fielded by Garber in foul territory. Valentine trying to bunt for a base hit, but he bunted foul and Garber's in front of him. 2 strikes.
That's a pretty good play right there by Bobby Valentine, because with 2 outs, you certainly don't expect a bunt, and Mike Schmidt is way back. If he'd have got that ball in fair territory, that would have been a base hit and a run scored, no problem.
Craig Swan at third base. Lee Mazzilli at first base, 2 outs. Valentine gets back in the batter's box. There's Garber's stretch. The 2-strike pitch. Swing, a little tap foul down the third base side. Stays 0-2 to Valentine. Valentine, with his 3 for 3 this afternoon, is currently hitting .319. Garber stretches. Throw to first base, and Lee Mazzilli gets back. Garber ready, the 2-strike pitch. A change, bounce high to Schmidt at third, flips to Morrison for the force on Mazzilli at second base, and Gino gets out of the inning. For the Mets, no runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 left. We move to the bottom half of the 5th. It's New York 5 and the Phils 4. Well, this is it, fans. Time for another Daily News home run payoff. And now you can win even more money because every hit pays off. A single pays $20 plus 4 tickets to a future game. A double pays $50 plus tickets, and a triple pays $100 plus tickets. And you can still win $1,000 for a homer and $5,000 for a grand slam. Use the entry coupon appearing every day in the Daily News. The more times you enter, the better your chances. And remember, now every hit pays off. Leading off in our Daily News home run payoff inning will be Mike Schmidt. Schmidt batting for Betty Ann Castanguay of Bordentown, New Jersey. Schmidt is 1 for 1. He has singled and walked and scored a pair of runs, boosting his league-leading total runs scored to 25. Here's Swan's pitch to Schmidt. Fastball quite high for a ball. Mets lead 5-4, bottom of the 5th. 1-0 pitch to Schmidt. High again, ball 2. It's 2-0. After 5 at Cincinnati, Montreal 6 and the Reds 2, and Doug Capilla's come in to pitch for Cincinnati. There's the 2-0 pitch. Swing and a very high fly ball, right field. Elliot Maddox drifting over toward the line. He has a lot of time, puts it away. Schmidt is out, 1 down. Betty Ann Castanguay of Bordentown. You'll get 4 reserve seat tickets to a future Phillies game. And that'll bring on Greg Luzinski. Greg is grounded out and hit a 2-run home run. He's batting for Denise Mosky of Wilmington, Delaware. Swan's pitch to Luzinski is over for a strike call. Wind up by Swan, and the pitch to the ball. Fastball high and inside. It's 1-1. One pitch to Luzinski. Over for a strike called, and Swan is in front of him. A ball and 2 strikes. One-two pitch to the ball. Slider is outside. It's 2-2. Here's the 2-2 to Luzinski. A breaking ball, pop foul out of play. Remains 2 balls and 2 strikes to Greg Luzinski, batting in our Daily News home run payoff for Denise Mosky of Wilmington, Delaware. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Fastball low, it's a full count. Richie Hebner waiting on deck. Three-two pitch to Luzinski. Swing and a long drive. There she goes, way out of here. Onto the press level and over the clock. In deep left field, another tremendous home run. Luzinski hits his second of the day and ties the game at 5. Denise Mosky of Wilmington, Delaware, you have just won $1,000 on Greg Luzinski's home run. Denise Mosky of Cloister Road in Wilmington. You're $1,000 richer thanks to the bull. Luzinski has tied the game at 5, and here's Richie Hebner. Hebner has walked and flied out to left. Pitch to Hebner, swing and a pop foul back up this way and out of play.
Hey, we should feel honored, Harry, to have watched that home run. That might have gotten out as quick and as far as any home run you'll ever see.
That was out of here in a hurry and over the clock and onto the press level in left field. The pitch to Hebner, he tried to check, but he went around on it, 0-2.
I was going to say just before that pitch that he had such a good at-bat that time. He laid off a couple of real tough pitches from Swan, and that is when he is hitting, he lays off those bad close pitches, and that's what he's doing now.
2-strike pitch to Hebner, very high fly ball, shallow right center field. Coming in is Elliot Maddox, and he makes the catch. Hebner is out. Sherman Edwards of York Street in Philadelphia. He'll get 4 reserve seat tickets to a future Phillies game. And that'll bring on Gary Maddox, and he'll be batting for Kelly Ann Meehan. Fork Landing Road in Maple Shade, New Jersey. 5-5 game. Bottom of the 5th, Luzinski's driven in 3 with a pair of home runs, numbers 5 and 6. Here's the pitch to Maddox, and he pops a foul out of play. 1 strike to Gary Maddox. Luzinski has also won $1,000 for Denise Mosky of Wilmington, Delaware, in our Daily News home run payoff. Here's the 1-strike pitch. Fastball inside. It's 1-1 to Gary Maddox, batting for Kelly Ann Meehan of Maple Shade, New Jersey. 1-1 pitch. Maddox takes high for a ball. It's 2-1. Mets have out-hit the Phillies 14-6. Ball game is tied 5-5 in the 5th. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Low for a ball, it's 3-1. Luzinski knocked in 4 runs last night. He has driven in 3 today. Maddox has driven in 2 with a bases loaded single and a ground out. Here's the 3-1 pitch to Gary. Swings and he fouls the fastball straight back. Full count to Maddox. Here's Swan's 3-2 pitch. Swing and a pop foul out of play. Gave him a 3-2 breaking ball. Challenged Luzinski with a 3-2 fastball, and Greg tied up the ball game with it.
Greg hit the same pitch both times for his home run. Fastball's down.
3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out with a fastball. Maddox goes down swinging. First strikeout for Swan. Kelly Ann Meehan of Maple Shade, New Jersey. You'll get 4 reserve seat tickets to the future game. And Denise Mosky of Wilmington, Delaware. Luzinski's home run has won you $1,000. 1 run, 1 hit. There's a none left. Once again tomorrow night, when it's a designated inning, you could win up to $5,000 on Daily News home run payoff. The end of 5, we're tied. 5-5, and now it's time for a tasty break.
Back to the ball game at the bat.
Elliot Maddox will lead off for the Mets here in the 6th. He's 1 for 3. He has knocked in a run. Brand new game, 5-5, 6th inning. Gene Garber's pitch to him is over for a strike call. The Yankees lead Texas after 4, 2-0 on Greg Nettles' 2-run homer. his third of the year. That's Jim Beatty against Doc Ellis. Here's a pitch on the way to Maddox. He fouls it straight back, 0-2. Minnesota 6, Baltimore 2 after 2 behind Gary Serum. Jim Palmer started that game for the Orioles, was knocked out in the second inning. Joe Kerrigan is in there now. There's the 2-strike pitch. Swing and a ground ball on the right side, base hit. So Elliot Maddox grounds a single to right field. Hit number 15 for New York. This game is tied 5-5. The Mets have out-hit the Phillies 15-6. New York through 5 innings is stranded 9 runners. That'll bring on Steve Henderson. He is 2 for 3, a couple of singles, and a deep fly ball to right field. Boston 5-0 over Chicago at the end of 3. Jim Rice, his 9th home run of the year, and Carl Yastrzemski also a home run. Milwaukee 2-0 over Kansas City after 2 behind Jerry Augustine. Rich Gale going for Kansas City. The National League, Montreal has scored another run in the 6th. They now lead Cincinnati by a score of 7-3. Game 1 of their doubleheader. Bottom half of the 6th inning. Wayne Twitchell for Montreal. Paul Moskow started for Cincinnati. Doug Capilla's in there now. There's a pitch to Henderson. He waves and misses at a changeup. 1 strike to count to Steve Henderson. Pittsburgh leading Los Angeles after 5-4-0. Jim Rooker pitching that shutout. Tommy John for Los Angeles. And after 2 at Chicago, 0-0. San Francisco and the Cubs. Vida Blue and Ray Burris. San Diego leading St. Louis 3-0. After 1 at St. Louis, that's Bob Ochinko against Bob Forsch. Here's the 1-strike pitch. A slider misses outside. It's 1-1 to Steve Henderson. 5-5 game in the 6th inning. Maddox at first base and nobody out. A ball and a strike to Steve Henderson. Throw to first base and Maddox gets back. Gene Garber, the 3rd Phillies pitcher. Randy Lurch started. All 5 charged to Randy. Here's the pitch and a swing and a miss on a good changeup. Ball and 2 strikes to count to Henderson. Henderson goes back to get the pine tar cloth from on-deck man Willie Montañez.
I think the book on Steve Henderson would have to be to throwing changeups or off-speed pitches if you have them, because he's a very aggressive hitter and he strides at the ball in a hurry, and he keeps his hands back pretty well, as evidenced by the way he hits the ball to right field so much. I think the only way you're really going to get him out consistently is to try and keep him off balance with off-speed stuff, and that's what Gino's doing this AB with him.
Ball and 2 strikes to Henderson. Maddox at first base and nobody out. 1-2 pitch. Change missing low. It's 2-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Steve Henderson. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Fastball nubbed on 1 hop to Morrison. Flips the ball 1. Relay. Yes, they turned the double play. Gino jammed Henderson, who nubbed it on 1 hop to Jim Morrison. Flipped the ball for 1, and Boa made a strong relay to complete the double play. 2 outs and no base runners, and that'll bring up Willie Montañez.
It's a tough play for Jim Morrison. You have to give him a lot of credit on that one. Like Harry said, Henderson really got jammed, and that ball had the reverse spin on it. And when it hit the AstroTurf, it took a crazy hop back towards first base in that direction. And Morrison had to catch the ball first and then get his double play, and he made a real good play on that ball.
Montañez is 2 for 3. His singles doubled and grounded into a fielder's choice. Here's Garber's pitch to him, and a fastball is over at the knees for a strike call. 1 strike to Montañez. 1 strike pitch to him. Outside for a ball. It's 1-1. We're tied at 5 in the 6th inning. Ball and a strike to Willie Montañez, who steps out. Here's the 1-1 pitch to him. Fastball, skied down the left field foul line. Long run, Schmidt and Luzinski, and they can't quite catch up to it. A Amazingly, Schmidt was almost there in front of the picnic area, but a foul ball and out of play. 1-2 the count to Montañez. Garber roughs up a different baseball. The Houston Astros, Cesar Cedeno, Bob Watson, J.R. Richards, Jose Cruz, and all the gang from Houston will be here Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday nights. 1-2 pitch. Strike three called, struck to him out.
Fastball on the outside corner, got Montañez looking. Billy drops his bat, then drops his batting helmet on the plate and looks back at an unconcerned Thatch Davidson, who walks away from him. Garber's second strikeout. No runs a hit, no errors, and none left. We go to the bottom of the sixth. It's Phillies 5, New York 5. Bottom half of the sixth inning. Let's pause for station identification on the Phillies Baseball Network.
This is News Radio in the Delaware Valley, KYW 1060 Philadelphia. It's partly cloudy and 67 degrees on Independence Mall.
Boone leads off for the Phils and swings at the first pitch and sends one deep to left, and it's out of here. A home run for Boone, and the Phillies have taken a 6-5 lead. Boone jumped on a first ball fastball and gets his third home run of the year. The Phillies' third home run of the ball game, and the Phils lead at 6-5. So Bob is hoping for a case of tasty cake. For him, wife Sue, sons Brett and Aaron. That'll bring on Jim Morrison. Morrison is fouled out and flied out to right. Great time to pause for a station ID. Pitch to Morrison as a curveball, low for a ball.
You still gave it a great call.
1-0 to Morrison. The next pitch to him is a fastball low, and it's 2-0.
You know this is a first ball hitting team.
Here's Swan's 2-0 pitch. Swing and a high fly ball left field. Henderson coming in and toward the line. In foul territory makes the catch. Morrison is out, one down. Gene Garber will come out and bat for himself. Phillies have taken a 6-5 lead here in the sixth on Boone's home run. Garber has been at bat once this year without a hit. Phillies have 6 runs and 7 hits. The Mets 5 runs and 15 hits. The Phillies have hit 3 home runs. Therein lies the difference. The pitch to Garber is outside for a ball. 1-0 to Gene Garber. 1-0 pitch to Gino is over for a strike called. It's 1-1.
Look at the Mets with 14 singles.
No, they have one double Montanez. I guess the rest of them are all singles, yeah.
Here's a line drive, but it's right at second baseman Bobby Valentine. Well, he had ball by Garber, but had Valentine 2 down. That'll bring up Bake McBride. Bake is 1 out of 3, who's twice grounded out and singles.
It'll be very, very frustrating to New York to keep getting all these hits and only come up with 5 runs. And the Phillies just show the long ball potential that they have, but it really points out one of the big differences between these two teams is the power the Phillies possess, and the Mets have very, very little power.
Here's the pitch to McBride. A curveball is high for a ball. 1-0 to Bake McBride. Phillies leading 6-5, bottom of the sixth. There's the 1-0 pitch to Bake. It's low for a ball, 2-0. Right-hander Butch Metzger gets up in the New York bullpen. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Slider missing inside. It's 3-0 to Bake McBride. Wind up by Swan, the 3-0 pitch. High and inside, ball 4. He walked it. Fourth walk issued by Craig Swan. Rube Walker, the pitching coach, pops out of the New York dugout. Larry Bowe, the scheduled hitter. Butch Metzger has been up in the Mets bullpen. Phillies lead at 6-5. 2 homers by Greg Luzinski, 1 by Bob Boone. Plate attendance this afternoon is 39,106. Conference on the mound. Swan is going to be left in the game to pitch to Larry Bow. Bow is 1 for 3. His single popped up and flied out. Blake McBride, first base, 2 down. There goes McBride on the first pitch. Stearns' throw is in time to get Bake. Stearns to Doug Flynn, and Bake is thrown out for the first time this year. Well, McBride caught attempting to steal. The Phillies get a run on 1 hit for homer by Boone. No errors and none left. After 6, it's still 6 Mets 5, and now it's time for a safety break. Well, the improved Houston Astros will be here tomorrow, Tuesday, and Wednesday night. Cesar Cedeno, Bob Watson, and all that gang from Houston. Tomorrow night it'll be Big J.R. Richard for the Houston Astros. He leads the league in strikeouts. He'll be opposed by Larry Christensen. On Tuesday night, Jim Cott going against Floyd Bannister, and on Wednesday, Jim Lomborg and Joe Negro. Here's John Stearns. He tries to bunt his way out and fouls it off. 1 strike to Stearns. Then Houston will be followed in by the Cincinnati Reds for a big 4-game series against Joe Morgan, John Bench, Pete Rose and company. They'll be in Thursday night at 7:35, Friday night 8:05, Saturday night 7:35, and Sunday afternoon at 1:35. The pitch, again a bunt, fielded by Gene Garber. He throws and he got him. What a play by Garber. Garber was on that bunt like a cat. It was a good bunt by Stearns. Garber backhanded the ball and gunned to Richie Hebner, and Stearns is out 1 down.
Garber is an excellent fielding pitcher, and we'll notice that with Gino whenever he's pitching and there's a play at first, how well he covers first base and gets over there. And very, very quick coming off the mound, and he sensed that bunt and made a tremendous play on it.
Len Randall is coming in to pinch hit for Joel Youngblood. He'll probably stay in the game and play third base. Lenny Randall hitting at 159, a switch hitter, batting left against Garber. Garber in his third inning in relief of Warren Brewster. Here's the pitch to Randall, and it's outside for a ball. First game of the Cincinnati series on Thursday, the probable pitching matchup, Steve Carlton and Tom Seaver. Pitch is low for a ball, and it's 2-0 to Len Randall. 1 out, nobody on base. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Outside ball 3, 3-0. Phillies lead by a run, 6-5. We're in the 7th. The 3-0 pitch to Randall is high ball 4. He walked him on 4 pitches. That'll be the first walk given up by Garber. Len Randall, a base runner at first base with 1 out. That'll bring up Doug Flynn. Flynn has singled in 3 at-bats. Randall leads the league in bases on balls. That's the 22nd walk that Randall has coaxed. Ed Kranepool moving into the on-deck circle to bat for Craig Swan. Stretch by Garber, a big lead by Randall, and Garber throws that way, and a balk has been called on Garber. A balk on Garber, and that moves Randall up to second base on the balk. This crew has been very, very ticklish about balks. They have called a ton of them. They called 4 against the Mets in 1 game in Atlanta. Called a couple in the first game of this series. Bob Boone going out to talk to Gene Garber.
So many ways, it's tough to sit up here and say what an umpire calls a balk on a pitcher. The one that they'll call it on the right-handed pitcher a lot for is if that back foot, or that front foot, when he pivots, they don't see any daylight. But I don't know how John Kibler could see that from back there. So I don't know why he called a balk on him.
Boone has had his say. He comes back behind the plate. Lenny Randall at second base and 1 out. Doug Flynn, who's 1 for 3. Hard ground ball just fouled on the third base side. 1 strike to count to Flynn. Now Garber wants a word with Bob Boone. Butch Metzger is up in the New York Mets bullpen. Final from Washington. Washington Bullets have taken a 3-1 lead over the Philadelphia 76ers. The Bullets 121, the Sixers 105. Series comes back to the Spectrum for the next game. Here's the 1-strike pitch. Chopped foul at the plate. Hit it off his bat a couple of times, and Garber's in front of Flynn, 0-2. Garber gave him a fastball that time. I think Garber decided that changeup was not the pitch to throw to Doug Flynn. Flynn hit the changeup, hard foul down the third base side. Glenn Randall at second base and 1 out. Time called by Flynn as he steps out. There's a stretch by Garber and the pitch to Flynn. Ground ball, deep third, fair ball. What a grab by Schmidt. He got him. A great play by Schmidt. What a play at deep third behind the bag. Mike Schmidt nails Flynn, and holding at second base is Lenny Randall. 2 down, and that'll bring on Ed Kranepool. Brilliant play by Mike Schmidt.
Another example of how ungodly quick he really is. He backhanded that ball and then came up throwing, and Doug Flynn can run. He is not an average runner. He might be a little bit above average. He can really run going from home plate to first, and Mike Schmidt got him by a full step, and just tremendous play.
Here's Ed Kranepool, one of the top pinch hitters in baseball, maybe the top pinch hitter in baseball, left-hand hitter. Kranepool batting at .217, bouncing ball to Morrison. He throws, Kranepool is out. So the Mets go down in the 7th. No runs, no hits. 2 fine plays by Garber and Schmidt. No errors and 1 left. We move to the bottom half of the 7th inning. It's Phillies 6, New York 5. We move to the bottom half of the 7th inning. The Phils leading the Mets 6-5. For more play-by-play, here's Andy Musser.
Thank you, Harry. And the Mets have a new pitcher. Butch Metzger is coming in the ball game. The Mets pinch hit for Craig Swan at the end of last inning, so Metzger is coming in now. He is 0-1 this year with an 8.25 earned run average. Larry Boa will lead it off for the Phillies. And Lenny Randall has moved in to play third base for New York. He pinch hit for Youngblood. The first pitch is over for a strike. Right-hander Metzger winds. Here's the next pitch. Boa up to bunt, does not offer at the outside pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. Larry is 1 for 3 today. Singled his first time up. Ground ball foul, caught by Tony Taylor. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Boa. He'll be followed by Schmidt and Luzinski. The Phillies with a 1-run lead, despite the fact that the Mets have more than twice as many hits. 15-7 in the hit column. Hard hit ball, gloved by Martinez at first, but it gets away, and it'll be a hit for Boa. Larry on his way to second base as that ball trickles down the right field line, and he gets in there. Martinez got leather on the ball and slowed it up, and that just made it possible for Boa to take the extra base. A double for Larry Boa. Boa at second with his second hit of the ball game, and here's Mike Schmidt.
Now, Mike Schmidt right now is going to try and hit the ball to the right side of the infield, or at least hit it to right field, somewhere to get Larry Boa over to third base, and Danny Ozark might even have him bunt. I would hope not, but I think he'll try and hit the ball to the right side because Greg Luzinski's so hot right now that there's a good chance that he'll drive the run in.
Schmitty today, 1 out of 2. He also walked and scored. The pitch to him is on the inside corner, a strike called.
I was saying I hope not. All I meant was that I'd like to see him swing the bat. You know, he's fun to watch swing the bat, and you don't like to ever see him bunt.
1 strike on Schmitty. Here's Metzger's next pitch, swing and a miss, and he had the right field swing that time. 0-2 on Schmidt. Mike leads the National League in runs scored, and he's scored twice today. He has now actually scored runs in 7 straight ball games. 0-2 on Schmidt. Metzger stretches and checks Boa. Here's his pitch. High ball.
Of course, it's really tough now when you get the 2 strikes on you to give yourself up and hit that ball the right side, because you have to be careful you don't get a pitch you can't handle and strike out. But I know Mike is still going to try and do it. And if he should hit a ball to the right side, he might even get a base hit, because they really have him played over towards the middle of the diamond.
They do with the second baseman, Valentine, way back towards second. There's a ball hammered into right field. Going over is Maddox. He takes it for the out. Boa tags at second. Here comes the throw to third. It's offline, and he's in there. They had a chance to get Boa that time, but Maddox uncorked the throw that went to the outfield side of third, and Boa gets over there.
And Schmidt did the job, just like we said he would try to do. He got the ball in the air to right field, but Larry Boa, as quick as he is, was able to make it to third, and here's the Bull with a chance for an RBI.
New York manager Joe Torre is out of the dugout, and he's going to talk with Metzger. Third baseman Lenny Randall also in on that conversation. The attendance here at the ballpark today, 39,106. Good crowd here on Jim Short's Day.
Well, they're obviously talking over what they want to do with Greg Luzinski here. I can't picture them walking him in this situation, especially with a left-handed hitter, Richie Hebner, on deck. Skip Lockwood, I think, is throwing in the bullpen now, so he doesn't have a left-hander up. But Luzinski has just worn the Mets out this weekend, and Joe Torre knows how hot he is right now.
Mets have brought the infield in, particularly on the right side. Here's the Bull, who has homered in his last 2 at-bats. Metzger gets it over for a strike. Greg with 9 RBIs in the series. Metzger from the full windup, the 1-strike pitch, swing and a miss. 1-1 to Greg Luzinski. Greg now with the team leadership in home runs. He has 6. Boa dancing off third to try to unnerve Metzger. Wind up in the pitch. Fly ball center field, should be deep enough to score the run. Coming over is Mazzilli. He makes the grab. Boa tags. Here comes the throw to the plate. Larry is in, and the Phillies have added an insurance run. And another RBI for Greg Luzinski, his 10th of the series.
That is just good baseball right there by the Philadelphia Phillies. And Mike Schmidt getting the runner over to third base, and Greg Luzinski was so hot, you just knew he was going to hit a fly ball or get something that he was going to drive the run in, as hot as he is right now. And perfect execution by the Phillies, and give him a big plus on that.
That RBI gives him club leadership in that department as well. He has 18, 1 more than Schmidt. Here's Richie Hebner 0 for 2 with a walk. Long drive toward deep right field. Way back it is. Gone! A home run for Hebner, and the Phillies lead the ball game 8-5. That's the 4th home run of the ball game for the Phillies, the first time they've done it this year. And a case of tasty cake for Hebner, and 1 for Thompson Lutheran home. Home run number 2 for Hebner. He really drilled that one to right field. It was just there. Gary Maddox batting, and the pitch to Gary is inside a ball. Gary has 2 RBIs today. He got the first 2 Phillies runs home. Maddox fouls off a pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Four home runs for the Phillies. Maddox fouls off another one. 2 by the Bull, 1 by Boone, 1 by Hebner. Metzger lines in the pitch. In for a strike called, and the inning is over as Maddox strikes out. But the Phillies have another good inning as they score 2 runs. They have 2 hits, and they leave nobody on base. At the end of 7, the Phillies lead the Mets 8-5.
I used to think of the George machine at Gerard Bank as my own private money game. If I forgot to go to the bank or needed cash on a weekend, there he was. Proceed to go and collect $200. Man, I owned that withdrawal button. You know what I mean? And then I looked at all the buttons. Wow. Checking, savings, deposits, loans, transfers, balances. I got a whole bank right here. Now I do my everyday banking with George. I push the buttons, and I run the bank.
George lets you be the banker. Gerard Bank. We're there when you need us.
Cold gas life to memories of the good old days. Looking back, we realize we've changed in so many ways. We may never recapture the way we were then, but the wandering feeling has come back again when we sit and recall all the good times. Cold gas life.
One of the best ways for you and your friends to have a night out in the town that you'll never forget is to attend a Phillies game in a group outing. Just pick out a date and call the Phillies group sales experts at 803-5000. Let them do the rest. A group outing at the Phillies is fun for everyone, so make that phone call. Call 803-5000 and come on down to the vet for all the excitement of Phillies baseball. Gene Garber in the ball game for the Phillies will be going into his, came in the 5th. This will be his 4th inning of work. And he is about to face the top half of the New York lineup. Lee Mazzilli will lead it off. He's had a good day. He's 3 out of 4. The Mets have out-hit the Phillies 15-9, but 14 of the 15 hits have been singles. Garber into his windup. Here's the pitch to the switch hitter batting left-handed. It's outside, ball 1. When Lurch left the mound in the 4th inning, he was ahead by a run, but before that round was over, Lurch stood to be the losing pitcher in this ball game. Now he'll come out of it with a no decision. There's a bunt down the first base side. Hebner gloves and puts the tag on a sliding Mazzilli, who goes out of the baselines to try to slide into first base. Mazzilli with the bunt, and it was a good one, but Hebner made the play.
Good play by Hebner and a good play by Lee Mazzilli. You really got to like the way he plays. He slid out of the baseline, and Hebner just kept chasing him and tagged him finally. He was definitely out, but that's a good hustling play by Mazzilli and Richie Hebner.
Here's Bobby Valentine. Got hits his first 3 times up. He's 3 out of 4. Bobby, a right-handed batter. Garber's pitch to him is a hard hit ball in the hole, a base hit. He's got 4 hits in the ball game. Another single for the Mets, and they've got 16 hits this afternoon. 11 of their hits against Lurch, 1 off Brewster, and that's the 4th off Garber. Valentine at first with 1 out. Elliot Maddox will bat. He's 2 for 4 with an RBI. Remember to stay tuned for the Tasty Cake wrap-up show. Rich Ashburn will have a special guest. They'll be talking about the ball game. You'll hear the highlights. And, of course, a rundown of all the other scores in baseball today. Garber stretches and the pitch is over for a strike. Tug McGraw begins throwing in the Phillies bullpen. Garber stretches. Here's the pitch. Low and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. As we mentioned, Garber in his 4th inning of work. And, of course, it's not very often that Garber gets to go that far. He hasn't worked this far in any ball game this year. His previous longest outing was 2 1/3 innings against San Diego on April 29th. Normally, Gino's just in there for an inning or so. Outside to Maddox, 2 balls and a strike. Phillies lead the game 8-5. 1 out, 1 on for New York in the 8th. Garber stretches. Here's the pitch. Change up, and it's popped into right field. McBride getting over. He takes it for the out. Maddox out on a ball in the air to right field. That's the second out. Valentine holds at first, and here's Steve Henderson. 2 out of 4, has scored 2 runs and grounded into a double play his last time up. That game in Atlanta still being delayed by rain. And now Montreal leads Cincinnati 12-3. They're in the 7th inning of game number 1. Here's a strike call. Pirates have increased their lead over the Dodgers to 6-0. They're in the 7th. All of a sudden, the Dodgers are having trouble scoring runs. San Diego leads St. Louis 3-1. That ball game in the 4th. The 1-strike pitch to Henderson is grounded to third, but it's foul. 0-2 on right-handed batting Steve Henderson. Good crowd here today, 39,106 on Jim Short's Day. And remember, a week from today, when the Reds are in town for a 1:35 game, it'll be Ladies Canvas Tote Bag Day, courtesy of the Phillies and Tasty Cake. Garber at the belt. Here's his pitch. Just a little low and outside. A ball and 2 strikes on Steve Henderson. Mets have 3 players on the disabled list. Bob Apodaca, the pitcher, will be out for the year. Foley is likely to be out for the year. And the other Henderson outfielder, Ken, is also disabled right now. Henderson sends a ground ball to Mike Schmidt. He will play over to Morrison for the force, and the inning is over. For the Mets in the 8th, no runs, 1 hit, and 1 left. At the end of 7.5, the Phillies lead New York 8-5.
Plymouth Arrow gets great mileage, 39 on the highway, 29 in the city, and has a low sticker price, $38.41, excluding taxes and destination charges, and features like reclining buckets, tinted glass, and fold-down rear seat. So when you get a Plymouth Arrow, you get your money's worth. The mileage is an EPA estimate for a manual transmission Arrow with 1.6-liter engine. Your mileage may differ. Plymouth Arrow's great mileage, price, and features give you your money's worth. See it today at your local Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
Someone's playing guitar on the side. And being up here with you, satisfied. City's down the plumbing. And coquette wife to a guitar strumming. The coquette wife and everybody wants a little light. And I'm glad that I am a city boy tonight. And everybody wants a little light.
I'm a PhD in economics, right? I run around to 3 stores to buy food, so I save $1 here, $1 there, and yet I let $200 sit in my checking account where it doesn't earn a cent. No more. Now I use the George machine at Girard Bank to move money from my savings to my checking account only when I need it. With George, I push the buttons, and I'm the brains behind the bank. That's got to make me the smartest banker in town.
George lets you be the banker. Girard Bank. We're there when you need us.
And before the Phillies bat in the 8th inning, we'll pause for station identification, the Phillies Baseball Network.
This is News Radio in the Delaware Valley, KYW 1060, Philadelphia. It's now cloudy and 66 degrees on Independence Mall.
Bob Boone starts the 8th inning for the Phillies. Boone homered in his last at-bat. Metzger's pitch to him is high, a ball. The home run was hit off. Starter for the Mets, Craig Swan. Next pitch on the way to Boone. Over for a strike, 1-1. Morrison will bat next, and then Jay Johnstone is already out in the on-deck circle to bat for Gene Garber. Looks like Tug McGraw is going to finish this ball game. Base hit to center field for Boone. Line shot right back through the middle, and Boone is 2 for 4 this afternoon. That's the Phillies' 10th hit of the ball game. We've had 26 hits out here today. And the Phillies have their leadoff batter on in the 8th inning. Jim Morrison still looking for his first hit of the game. He's 0 for 3. Mets looking for a bunt here. Morrison squares around. The pitch is low, ball 1. Third baseman Randall really charging. John Stone, the on-deck batter, will swing for Garber. Morrison checking signs again with third base coach Billy DeMars. Phillies lead the ball game 8-5. In the ninth inning, McGraw will have to face Montanez, Stearns, and Randall. Morrison again squares, bunts down the first baseline. Montanez gloves it, goes to Valentine covering first, and the sacrifice works. So Jay Johnstone coming out with a runner at second and one down. Jay, a very popular ball player. Listen to the crowd. That's quite a roar for a guy who is 0 for 9 this year.
Yeah, he really is popular. Right now, he's just kind of a victim of circumstances. He'll play some before the year's over, and he knows it, and all he's trying to do right now is just keep himself sharp.
Jay, a left-handed batter. The pitch to him is popped up. Shallow center field. Shortstop Flynn going out. Center fielder Mazzilli comes in to make the grab for the out. Johnstone flies out to center field, the second out of the inning. And Bake McBride will see if he can chase home another run. The Phillies lead at 8-5. Bake 1 for 3 today. He also walked. And it looks as though the Mets are going to walk Shake and Bake and pitch to Larry Boa. Well, this is bound to pump up your pal Boa.
As if he needs it, right?
Right. This is the first intentional walk of the ball game. In fact, it's the first walk for Metzger and the 5th walk overall.
And a strange strategy, too. In the 8th inning, the Phillies have a 3-run lead. You know, it's not like this just one insurance run sitting out there or something. I guess Joe Torre just doesn't want to see the Phillies get that 4th run. He figures McBride's a bigger threat to drive it into Larry Boa. But Larry Boa is swinging the bat super left-handed.
Well, Larry's 2 for 4 today, and the last time up, he put a shot off the glove of Montanez down the first baseline. And Montanez slowed it, and it rolled on, and Larry got a double out of it. Here's a changeup, but it's outside a ball. Pitch on the way to Boa. Fly ball, shallow left field. It's in foul ground. 3 runners converging. Nobody gets it. The ball landed in foul ground as left fielder Henderson, third baseman Randall, and shortstop Flynn all converged, and nobody could get there. One ball and 1 strike on Larry Boa. Doug McGraw is still out there throwing. He'll be in to pitch the 9th inning for the Phillies. And Doug just does not give the Mets runs.
4 hits or walks.
They finally did get a hit off him the other night. And even then the ball was almost caught. That play by Martin and left. Metzger misses on a fastball. It's 2-1 the count to Boa. Boone at second. McBride at first. 2 outs. Phillies ahead by 3 in the 8th inning. Stretching the pitch to Boa. It's in for a strike call. Metzger getting a slider over, and we have a 2-2 count. National League strikeout leader J.R. Richard will pitch here tomorrow night. Boa checks his swing and takes low, full count. Larry Christensen for the Phillies. Ball game to start at 7:35. 2 down now. The runners will be going. Full count on Boa. Good situation for a hitter. Metzger stretches. Here's the pitch to Larry. Ground ball, first base side. Gloved by Montanez. He's got a long run. And safe! Boa slides in, safe. Montanez knew he was in trouble as soon as he got that ball. And Larry Boa beat him to the bag. An infield hit for Boa, and the bases are loaded.
That's a great hustling play by Larry Boa. Willie Montanez, of course, is playing deep on that. 2 out and 2 men on base. He's playing off the runner, and it was a high hopper. He had to wait back for it, and boy, you could see Boa smell first base as soon as that ball left his bat, and he can still fly.
Manager Joe Torre going to stop at home plate on his way out to the mound. He'll be making a couple of changes here. Outfielder Tom Grieve is heading toward the outfield. We'll see what they're going to do here. He's going to go in for Maddox, and we'll see if Elliott goes someplace else. At any rate, they're going to probably bring Skip Lockwood into the ball game. The Phillies have the bases loaded with 2 down, and Torrey's managing like the Phillies were only ahead by a run when, in fact, they lead this ball game 8-5. We've got a pitching change here at Veterans Stadium. We'll be back following these messages.
Want to add new sparkle and excitement to a humdrum world? Well, enroll for summer courses at Widener College in nearby suburban Chester, PA. Widen your world with Widener. There are long lists of subjects available, both graduate and undergraduate, both day and evening classes, as well as a Widener Way for Women program. Perhaps you need a few credits prior to September. Perhaps you're thinking of re-entering college. Perhaps you're out of high school a few years and want to give college a try. Widener College is a fully accredited college where you can work toward a degree or just take a course or two that will make your life more interesting and your career more rewarding. Day courses at Widener include business administration, engineering, social science, paralegal, humanities, and science, just to name a few. In addition, evening courses include accounting and management, liberal arts, science, engineering, and social science. MBA courses are also offered in the evening. Make this summer rewarding as well as enjoyable. Call Widener College at 876-5551 for additional information.
Plymouth Arrow gets great mileage, 39 on the highway, 29 in the city, and has a low sticker price, $38.41, excluding taxes and destination charges, and features like reclining buckets, tinted glass, and fold-down rear seat. So when you get a Plymouth Arrow, you get your money's worth. The mileage is an EPA estimate for a manual transmission Arrow with 1.6-liter engine. Your mileage may differ. Plymouth Arrow's great mileage, price, and features give you your money's worth. See it today at your local Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
Right-hander Skip Lockwood taking over the mound for the Mets. He's 0-1 this year with a 3.86 earned run average in 22 innings of work. And the Mets are making a double change, putting Tom Grieve in right field. So Lockwood will bat in the number 3 spot in the lineup, and Grieve will be in the number 9 spot, replacing Metzger. Lockwood, the third pitcher of the ball game for New York. Metzger worked 2 2/3 innings. The Phils got 4 hits and so far 2 runs off him. Lockwood inheriting a bases-loaded situation. 2 outs, and he will have to deal with Mike Schmidt. Mike 1 for 3 today with a walk, has scored 2 runs. Phillies lead the game 8-5. It's been a highly entertaining ball game, and Jerry Martin, who came in last inning to play left field, is on deck. Lockwood from the full windup. The pitch to Schmidt. Hard hit base ground ball back to the middle, fielded by the second baseman. Over to the shortstop, Flynn, just in time to get a force out. A hard hit ball, but fielded by Valentine at second, and the Mets are out of the inning. The Phillies do not score. There are 2 hits for the Phillies and 3 men left on base. At the end of 8, Phillies lead it 8-5.
The cat is really on the prowl at your Lincoln Mercury dealers. He wants these dealers to sell every Mercury in stock. Every one. That includes the anniversary edition 4-door Mercury Marquis with its traditional full-size luxury and comfort, plus a special value package featuring a vinyl roof, luxury wheel covers, body side moldings, flight bench seat, and more. Right now, this special package is being offered by Lincoln Mercury to its dealers at a factory discount. So check out your local Lincoln Mercury dealer now at the sign of the cat.
Big and small, every kind of engine too. There's one thing that applies to them all, whether they're old or new. You can't buy that upgrade, you got a carbon champion. You can't buy that no matter where you are, the champion. Champion's number 1 in the world, they're number 1 in your car. Some folks are going to work in a big place, be part of the team. I prefer to just be in that engine, nobody in between. You can't buy that upgrade, you got a carbon champion. You can't buy that no matter where you are, the champion. Champion's number 1 in the world, they're number 1 in your car. No, you can't buy that upgrade, you got a carbon champion. You can't buy that no matter where you are, the champion. No, you can't.
Doug McGraw, the new Phillies pitcher, as we go to the 9th inning. Well, 2 great Phillies publications are on sale here at the ballpark or through the mail. The Phillies Yearbook, a brand new publication and one of the best ever, loaded with color pictures of the players and their families, Lots of interesting reading as well. It's on sale here at the vet for $2. You can get a copy through the mail for $2.50. Also, a book called Baseball the Phillies Way, a fully illustrated book on how to play the game of baseball, plus 27 full-color baseball cards of Phillies players. That's on sale here at the park for $1.50 or through the mail for $2. For both publications, send a check or money order to Phillies Publications, P.O. Box 7575, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 19101. Get your copies right away and enjoy the baseball season even more. Well, Tug McGraw can really close the door on the Mets. Of course, he did it night before last, as he earned his second save of the year, working an inning and two-thirds, giving up only one hit. And that was the triple by Lenny Randall to left center field that Gary Martin had in his glove and lost as he hit the wall. Willie Montanez, ex-teammate, will be first to face Tug, left-hander to left-hander, with the Phillies leading at 8-5. McGraw's pitch, it's over for a strike call. Great job by Gene Garber today. He worked 4 innings, during which the Mets did not score in his longest outing of the year, and he will be Rich Ashburn's guest on the Tasty Cake wrap-up show. The one strike to Montanez is fouled back. Phillies trying to sweep the New York Mets. This series drew about 85,000 fans, which is remarkable because we have not had good weather until this afternoon. And actually, if you include the youngsters that were here the other night, there were over 100,000 in the ballpark. Here's a pitch that's high, 1-2 the count to Montanez. John Stearns is on deck. Tug winds, here's the pitch. Curveball low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Mets have out-hit the Phillies 16-11, but the Phillies lead by 3 on a 4-home run afternoon. Wind up in the pitch. Montanez, hard hit ground ball. Tug can't get it. Boa does, almost behind the bag at second. He throws him out. Larry Boa had shaded Montanez toward the second base side, and he was in the right spot to make that play. That's 1 out. John Stearns will hit with Lenny Randall on deck. Stearns 1 for 3 today. Drove in the first 2 New York runs with a bases-loaded single in the first. Last time up, he tried to bunt his way on, and Garber made a sensational play. Tug bounces a pitch, ball 1. Phillies are trying to win their 14th game today. Have to wait and see how they make out in their head-to-head battle with Montreal. The Expos are leading the Reds 12-3 in the first game of a doubleheader, but they've got another one to play. Curveball misses. 2-0 the count to Stearns. Tug winds, the 2-0 pitch, high ball 3. Dodgers have finally scored a run, but they trail the Pirates 6-1 in the 8th inning. Here's McGraw's 3-0 pitch. On the inside corner, a strike. Stearns represented the New York Mets at the All-Star game last year. He had a good first half a season ago. McGraw's next pitch is high ball 4, and Stearns is aboard. That's only the 3rd Met batter to walk today. Lurch gave up 1 walk. Garber walked 1. And here's Lenny Randall. He walked in his only at-bat, came in for Youngblood as a pinch hitter. McGraw stretches. The Phils are not holding the runner at first, and a fastball is high, ball 1. Hebner playing off the bag at first. Tug at the belt. Here's his pitch. Inside, ball 2.
Kind of dark here right now, too.
Yeah, it is. The sun's behind the cloud. Here's the 2-0 pitch, and it's ball 3. Well, Tug going to make it exciting for us, I guess. Tugger stretches. The 3-0 pitch. Strike. McGraw ready to work. Here's the 3-1. High and inside, ball 4, and with one down, he has walked back-to-back hitters. Stearns to second, Randall at first, and Doug Flynn to the plate with Tom Grieve in the on-deck circle. He's in the number 9 hole as the Mets made a double change last inning. Ron Reed begins throwing in the Phillies bullpen. Montreal 14, Cincinnati 3, 8th inning, first game of the doubleheader.
That's overkill.
Well, I'll tell you.
Expos are a good hitting club, you know. They're really hanging in there, and their starting pitching has been more than adequate. And thought before the season started they'd be a pretty good team in this league. I like them better than the Cardinals, and they're doing just that.
Here's Flynn, right-handed batter. He's 1 for 4. Pitch to him. Hard hit ball to center field, but Maddox has it in range. He gets back, takes it for the out. Tagging at second base is Stearns. He will go to third. No advance by Randall at first. That's the second out of the inning.
Well, see, there's something that escapes me sometimes is how a hitter like Doug Flynn, who is just a singles hitter, Tug McGraw can walk 2 batters and not really come close, and he goes up there and swings at the first pitch 3 runs down. It's just unbelievable sometimes you see stuff like that.
And here is Tom Grieve at the plate. Grieve came into the game as an outfielder last inning, a right-handed hitter batting at .278. 1 home run, 2 runs batted in. Low and inside, ball 1. Grieve's been around for a while. He was a first-round draft choice of the Washington Senators in 1966. The pitch to him in the dirt, 2-0. Just what you were saying, Chris. Tug's still having a little control problem, but Flynn helped him out a lot. 2-0, the count on Tom Grieve. Mets are down to their last out. Phillies lead at 8-5. McGraw at the belt. Here's his pitch. Ground ball, foul outside of third. Tomorrow night, Larry Christensen against the Astros' J.R. Richard. The Astros may be coming in after a day off. That ball game in Atlanta still delayed by rain, and they got to be giving up on that one pretty quick. McGraw stretches. The 2-1 pitch to Grieve. Swing and a miss. Curveball. 2-2. The Phillies won the first 2 games of this series by 9-4 and 7-2 scores. Tug ready to go. Here's the pitch. Called third strike. Fastball inside corner, and Grieve strikes out. And Tug has come in to shut the door again. For the Mets in the 9th, no runs, no hits, and 2 men left on base. Phillies win the ball game, 8-5. We'll be back with the wrap-up in just a moment.